Hi everyone. Today we are going to look at political developments under Ghana's First Republic. This period was a major turning point in our country's political history as Ghana moved from colonial influence into full self-governance. By the end of this lesson, you should understand how this constitution shaped Ghana's politics, both positively and negatively. Here's what we'll be covering in today's lesson. We will introduce the 1960 Constitution of Ghana, which was a major landmark after independence. We will examine the key features of this constitution, what exactly made it different. We will discuss the changes and impacts of the constitution on Ghana's political structure and society. And finally, we will explore its long-term legacy and how it influenced Ghana's constitutional journey. These points will help us understand why the First Republic remains important in Ghana's political history. Let's get started. After Ghana gained independence in 1957, the country was free, but its head of state was still the British Queen, as we learned in the previous strand. This meant Ghana was independent, but still connected to British authority. To change this, Ghana held a national plebiscite, which is a vote by the people to decide on a new system of government. On the 1st of July 1960, Ghana adopted the 1960 Republican Constitution, officially beginning the First Republic under Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. From this moment, Ghana became a republic, and the Queen's role was removed completely. If you are unsure why this was important, here's the answer. The 1960 Constitution was important because it removed colonial ties and ended all British control over Ghana. This allowed Ghana to officially govern itself fully without foreign influence. The Constitution also introduced a presidential system, giving Ghana a new political structure. It brought in new laws, new leadership arrangements, and major constitutional changes. In simple terms, the 1960 Constitution gave Ghana true independence, politically, legally, and administratively. In the next minutes, we will explore 9 features of Ghana's 1960 Constitution and the changes it brought. 1. Strong executive powers. The president had very strong powers, including the ability to pass laws and override other legislation. 2. Abolished colonial leadership. The Governor-General, who represented the Queen, was removed, ending colonial influence permanently. 3. Single executive. The president became both the head of state and the head of government, centralizing executive power. 4. No vice president. The constitution didn't allow for a vice president, which increased the country's reliance on the president alone. 5. Unicameral legislature. This is a system of parliament with a single chamber, presided over by the speaker. 6. Regional houses of chiefs. These were created in all regions to advise government on customary and traditional matters. 7. Weak separation of powers. Most ministers were also members of parliament, which reduced the independence of the legislature. 8. Human rights provision. Fundamental human rights were recognized, but they were not entrenched, meaning they could be abused easily. 9. Judicial review. Courts were given the power to declare government actions unconstitutional, helping to protect the constitution, at least on paper. A lot changed with Ghana's 1960 Constitution, and as a result, several significant changes occurred. Let's look at just 4 of them. First, Ghana became a republic, and Dr. Kwame Nkrumah became the first elected president. Second, opposition parties were gradually restricted and political competition became limited, leaving the CPP as the only party. The president's political power expanded significantly. He became commander-in-chief, could dismiss military officers, and even replace judges. And as a result, political power was abused. The government often used the Preventive Detention Act to detain critics without trial, limiting human rights and silencing opposition voices. So far, we've looked at the 1960 Constitution, features of the Constitution, and governmental changes that happened as a result of the Constitution. Now, let's look at the effects these changes had on Ghana as a nation. We will look at both the positive and negative effects, as well as some consequences of the Constitution. Let's go over the positives first. The first is that Ghana became completely sovereign and independent, with complete control over national affairs. Secondly, the country had a centralized leadership that helped drive national development projects and modernization. And finally, the Constitution allowed Ghana to support African liberation movements, inspiring other countries struggling for independence. What of the negative effects? The Constitution reduced the freedoms. The government had all the power and started restricting political rights. Then, there were serious human rights violations, where people who criticized the government were jailed without a trial. On top of that, the courts were controlled by the executive, meaning the government could influence judges and weaken fair justice for everyone. These issues and political development had significant consequences. Over time, public anger grew because citizens were frustrated with the government's strict one-party control. This rising frustration led to several attempted military coups as different groups tried to overthrow the government. Ultimately, these efforts succeeded in 1966 when a military coup finally removed Dr. Kwame Nkrumah from power while he was abroad. After Nkrumah was removed in 1966, Ghana's government remained unstable. The military ruled for a while, but then there was another coup in 1972. Later, in 1979, a group of junior military officers staged a coup and took control of the country. After a brief return to civilian rule, the military took power again in 1981. This cycle of military and civilian government continued until 1992, when a new constitution was approved. This 1992 constitution brought back democratic multi-party rule and is the same constitution that Ghana uses today. Under the 1960 constitution, the cabinet included several key members. Let's go over a few names. Imoro Igala Ebenezer Akwa-Adjei, Kojo Botsio, Alex Kwezon-Sake, Komla Agbeligbe-Dema, Kweku Boateng, Krobo Edusei, Francis Yao Agadzi, Mumuni Bawumia, Jeffrey Bing, AEA Oforiatta, and others. These leaders helped run government ministries and supported the president in national decision-making. In conclusion, the 1960 Constitution was very important for Ghana. It finally ended British colonial influence by removing the Queen as our head of state. It also created a very powerful presidential system that centralized all authority in the president. However, this system developed authoritarian tendencies, which led to abuses of power and eventually caused the coup in 1966. The story of the First Republic remains a powerful lesson for Ghana about the importance of balance in leadership, democracy, and our constitution. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson on political development under the First Republic of Ghana. See you in the next lesson.